Yes, they talking, everybody's talking, everybody's talking just to talk.
How many times a day do you guys look in a mirror?
Oh my god.
I said I can't even count. Whenever there is a mirror present.
Every time there's
Every time
there's reflective windows, I'm like,
Every time there's a reflection, I'm just like, oh hey.
Windows?
Windows. Cars. The car mirrors.
Yeah.
The car. I'm like, I was like,
Yeah, security right before I check.
oh my gosh, yeah.
Why, Sabrina?
to make sure that I look good. So like in terms of like when what people see me, I'm okay. Like I think it's that need, not confidence, more like acceptance, I guess. And I think that it comes naturally too, because I'm not always thinking, oh, I wonder how that person like looks at me, but I think it's more like, okay, I have to make sure I look good because I do, because that's what everyone else does, you know?
Owning your own beauty, because I feel, especially for me, like as a woman of color, I don't see media a lot that I am beautiful. So when I see my reflection, because it has taken so many years for me just to feel beautiful in like my own skin. So now that I can own it and say like, hey Victoria, you look real good today. And just like have that confidence, but also like reassurance that like, I am awesome and like, I do look good.
Coming from like Middle Eastern descent, I think even when we have celebrities who are Middle Eastern, like the Kardashians, they still go through the surgeries to not look like that. So we're put in our heads, especially in a world where there's kind of this like prejudice against us that our beauty is not ideal. Coming from someone who has a bigger nose, who doesn't have the biggest lips, who is a little bit taller and a little bit like slender, it's a different type of beauty that is not celebrated.
You know, I try to always, you know, look good or whatever, but every time like I leave my house, I always like look at myself and always say like, oh, I wish I was 5 pounds like, you know, less. I wish I was this, I wish I was that. And to be completely honest, I think that's one of, and I don't like to admit this a lot, but that's one of my biggest insecurities is like my overall like weight in the way I look. And I also think it's because from like where I'm surrounded, like I have like more curves than like other people, and like I don't know, like, and it's just, I don't know, it's hard to accept that, especially when you're just not, when you don't want it. I get, you know, and you can't control that.
Who do you think is the perfect weight in the world?
Something that's not myself.
I think that one of the hardest things for girls to do is to take back like their confidence when it comes to their appearance, while also keeping in mind that it is not the most important thing.
It must be tough, I can't imagine, with the culture that we have telling you it actually is the most important thing. Yeah. I mean, everything that we see on the internet, in any social media, everywhere, it's clearly the message is it's the most important thing. It takes, I think, a real sense of center for girls to at least keep in mind, if not completely take in the idea that it's not.
Talking to my aunts and like my sister, because I grew up in a very different time than them, where they were very conscious of their bodies and I have to be a size 4 to like fit in. And for me, they're like, how did you get so confident? Like, how are you on the stage, like acting? How are you talking to people? And I think it's because I didn't have that, well, I did have that like little voice in the back of my head saying, you should probably lose a few pounds, but like having that open conversation of like, what is beauty to us? And just finding that in my society and finding that in my community, in my aunts and my sisters, I think that's what, like finding their beauty and like trying to emulate that, that's when I found my beauty.
Yes, they talking, everybody's talking, everybody's talking just to talk.